So I spent the winter of 2018, 2019 back home in Indiana. It was really cold, but I wanted to renovate a slide-in truck camper for my old Tacoma. And after several months of work, I was ready to hit the road. I made it through Denver, and my brother and I headed out to Canyonlands National Park. I'd always heard about the White Rim Road. It's a 100-mile off-road, kind of really desolate track, and we both wanted to try that out. I'd also heard that White Crack Campground is one of the best campground views, at least in the United States, maybe in the world. So our original plan was to drive the entire 100-mile loop, but as we checked in at the ranger station, they let us know the western half of the loop was still really slick. So we decided to change our plans, and with the help of the ranger, we actually got 2 nights at White Crack Campground because someone canceled. So our new plan was to drive 40 miles of dirt roads in from Moab to White Crack, spend 2 nights on the plateau, and then drive right back out the same 40 miles of dirt road. The drive into White Crack Campground took pretty much all afternoon. It's about 40 miles and it's rugged, but there was so much snow and it was all melting, so it just turned it into a complete muddy mess.
Well, one thing that I've definitely learned on the White Rim Road is that I probably need some mud flaps. As you can see, every time I open my door now, I go ahead and level out all the mud.
Luckily, we did make it to camp before sunset. We wanted to be there before it got dark. We wanted to check everything out. With the permits for White Crack, we were the only people there for 2 days, and it was just amazing to be on that plateau and have the panoramic views all to ourselves. So we explored a little bit, found the ideal place to set up camp, and popped open a couple beers and watched the sunset. The plan was I would sleep in my camper, obviously, and Tyler has a pretty sweet setup built out in the back of his Raptor for longer term travel as well. So he was gonna sleep in his truck, but the weather forecast for the evening was gonna be really cold, down into the teens. So Tyler decided to sleep on my couch. Unfortunately, in the 3+ month renovation that I did, I never took the time to try my propane heater. So that night, once the sun set and we were settling in, I tried to get it to light and I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. Luckily, Tyler had purchased a little buddy heater in town. We ran it on full blast all night and went through 2 propane canisters. But still, when we woke up in the morning, it was 18 degrees outside and probably in the 30s inside, which was pretty cold. After lunch, we wanted to get out and explore a little bit, so we threw on our running packs and just started jogging around the plateau. And then we made it back over to our camp again for sunset, and it was just another beautiful evening. The perfect place to set up a couple camp chairs or sit in the camper and just watch the sun go down and the desert landscape change around you. There is definitely something very special about White Crack Campground. That second morning we had a cup of coffee, and with nothing really to do all day, we decided to go ahead and leave camp early and cover the 40 miles back into town, but take our time because we'd passed so many areas and so many things on the way, and we wanted to experience it. So we just packed up the trucks and made our way back to Moab. One of the best parts about White Rim Road is the sheer exposure. There are cliffs that just drop straight down into the river valleys and canyons below, and you can easily walk up to them and peer down, or if you're brave enough, drive your vehicle up to them. So we did a little bit of that. We enjoyed the road, but we put our trucks in some pretty sweet places that I'm sure our mom would not appreciate to get some very interesting photos.
A couple days ago coming out here, we saw quite a bit more mud than we did coming back. So we've definitely been through mud. We've been through a little bit of snow, not too terribly much to make it super crazy.
Just after I filmed that with Tyler, we were heading down one of our last descents before we hit the pavement, but it was on the north side of a hill, and the mud and the snow hadn't really melted. So Tyler was leading the way, And as he made his way down, his truck shifted and just slid off the road, luckily into the ditch on the right, because if he'd gone over to the left, he would have been right off the cliff. And with four-wheel drive, he just couldn't get out. We eventually had to back him up back the hill until he could get to a rock that would give him enough traction to kick his back end into the road. I took my very heavy Tacoma with a truck camper down, going very slowly, and though I slipped a little bit, I made it down safe and sound as well.
Yep, see if you can't crank it. There we go. Yeah, keep cranking even. That's my line. Stay to the left here. Okay.
The back end just had a mind of its own.
Right?
The next morning, Tyler made his way back to Denver, and I pretty much went straight to the car wash where I emptied at least $10 to $15 of quarters into the car wash, and by the end of it, I'm not sure I was any cleaner than I was when I started. All in all, I think White Rim Road was my Tacoma and truck camper setup's first test, and I passed. I was pretty worried when I arrived, knowing how heavy I am. I thought for sure my axle would snap in half or my wheels would just fall off, and there were some pretty rugged sections and the camper was bouncing around quite a bit. I did have the Firestone Ride Right airbags on the rear suspension, and I'm so heavy and it was so rugged that I bent the top brackets of the airbags, so I knew that was something I had to fix. When I made it to Phoenix as my next stop, one of the things I did was go to a local place that custom arched leaf packs for me, and that was a game changer. So I can positively say that Canyonlands, White Rim Road, and especially White Crack Campground are definitely at the top of my list of favorite places that I've been in the United States. So getting all of these shots of our trucks driving through Canyonlands was quite a lot of work. Little did I know how much I would actually be running during this truck driving vacation.